Well, hey, how y'all doing out there this evening? Listen here, I I definitely do a lot of talking, and I don't know, a lot of people seem to resonate with what I say because some of you are close to my age for the most part. A lot of you are women that know deep down inside that you're supposed to be more than what you are right now. A lot of you are brothers that are lost, and it's because things were stolen from you, ideas, your power, who you are, what we used to stand for, who we're supposed to be. And I, I, I just remind you of the way of life you were born into for the most part, for most of you. And because I'm not a follower, and because I don't tend to lean to one side or another when it comes to, especially comes to any kind of intellectual conversation or political conversation or ideological or theological conversation. We all have different opinions, and they're all like assholes. They all stink. And I get that. I get that part. But there's a group of y'all. I speak to so many levels of the poor and what's now considered the non-essential and unwanted people. Because I put myself in that category because I live that way. I live the way I do for a reason, though, because there's a lot of power in it. And here's the point: a lot of y'all I seem to leave out, or you seem to think I'm an enemy to you when I'm not. And that's the right wingers out there. I want to talk to y'all for a minute, if you don't mind. I hope you'll listen in, because many of us are friends for different reasons, and then serious issues bounce up, and you'll see me talk and give my point of view, because a lot of times I'm just letting off steam, because I understand where you're coming from, but most of us became friends or allies during a time period from the late 80s up until where I guess the dream ended. The revolution against the government could stop because we were shown the truth. And it was all through a man named Ron Paul. And no matter what anybody else out there thinks about Ron Paul, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the right wingers out there. I'm talking about people that are my brothers and my sisters, and no matter how far off we get and what rabbit hole we decide to go down, we are looking and we are going down rabbit holes. But the thing I want to mention to y'all is y'all been some of us that are very deep and long term friends, okay? Because we all have thick skins, and for the most part we're realists. We pay attention to what's going on. Y'all, we leave each other alone on a lot of things when it comes to this Trump issue. And a lot of times I try my best to remind you in a way of, believe it or not hurting your feelings, because you gotten kind of like the left wingers used to cry about or bitch about. Now you cry about. I mean, it's kind of weird. They play you, in other words. That's why I wish you'd get out of that political realm. It's not a real realm. It's a land of illusion. And it kills time. It takes your time and it takes your energy. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Back in the day when we were watching the National Defense Authorization Act turning our country into an open air prison and a concentration camp, basically, and at many time periods, whether it was a right wing or left wing president, we knew it was a puppet. The Bush years, the Clinton years, the Obama years, we all saw the thing in it. But then all of a sudden, like, this Trump guy pops up, and he's got a smart mouth, and he speaks brash and out loud, but he's a liar, and you know that. I mean, you know he's a liar. I've seen many of you so embarrassed, and I've seen over the last almost 4 years now, I have seriously watched you change your opinion, and even, saying, "Hey, I get it now," and just that you see who he really is, and it's like, wow, what do I do? Well, you should have done what Ron Paul told us. Ron Paul didn't run for president to be president. Did y'all forget that? My right wing brothers and sisters, my right wing tribe, because you are my tribe. I know you got my back. That's why we're all together. Matter of fact, that's pretty much why any of us are all together. We trust other people to be who they say they are and have our backs. We also know, and we talked about this for decades. Some of us, they're not elected. They're selected, and this one was definitely selected. over a daughter of the Illuminati, brothers and sisters. So that's not being in on it. I don't know what else is. And all these stories that have no backing and or just would love anybody that has a good heart, right or left, would love to, because I see left wingers pulling for this man now with these stories. Would love to hear these stories, but they have no purpose. The dates constantly change. It just keeps you in this cycle, this loop. You're spinning and spinning in that gerbil wheel, and out here, we don't have any food, brothers and sisters. Remember us talking back in the Ron Paul days, back in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, just last year, we was talking about how this food crisis was going to come. And that it didn't have anything to do with food stamps or a wall, or the actual reasoning behind all that was to stop food from coming from Mexico, to keep us from getting out of this country. Because it became political in this insane script writing from just an amazing bunch of writers led by Linda McMahon and Vince McMahon in Washington, D.C. Y'all has just made this story and this anti-hero out of probably the biggest piece of shit. You would never have anything to do for this man if he just changed labels like he's already done. He was a Democrat. He was a very liberal Democrat. Now he's a Republican, but he's not a conservative. It was never about being Republican, my right-wing tribe. We're working class people. It was about being conservative, and that there was one group that took on that cause. Well, look at what they are. They're the rich scum pieces of shit traitors that they've always been. There ain't no daddy war bugs. There ain't no war daddy. It's we the people. They turn both sides of this. And as a brother in the middle, wow, I want to tell both sides and anybody that's listening, you bring me so much pain and sadness and grief. The solution has never been to be like each other. That's our strength. Diversity is our strength. It was to be allies in a common cause for freedom, liberty, and justice for all. We have none of that, brothers and sisters. But my right-wing tribe, many of you took an oath. Many of you wanted to take that oath and live that in your life right now. You love your country. Your country was sold, brothers and sisters, whether you want to believe it or not. You can look at me and you can argue with me all day long. That's the easy part. That's the psyop. The truth is, the day that you swore you'd fight for, the enemy that you swore you would defend this country for, is all around us. And it's not your brother. It's not your sister. It's not the other party. We were never about party. We were about the United States Constitution and defending that law against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Brother, sister, we the people. This has gone way too far, and you know it. And you're waiting on a hero. Well, so am I. I'm waiting on you. You promise so much, especially you deep South, great Southern militias. All you involved in that unit of men, and I'm not busting anything out. I'm just telling y'all that so you hear it. Shame on you. You could have said something from the very beginning. You could have showed backing to people that wanted, they needed, very much needed to have a little bit of strength behind them so they could stand up. But you're right-wingers. You don't believe in the DC puppet show. You haven't for over 150 years. When you turn on me, you just turn on me. And it's not me. It's those of us that quit playing in the DC puppet show long ago. Yes, we still see an article, especially from Dr. Paul, or maybe something good happens from the right-wing side, or something that just seems like a victory. It's all a part of a game. Because if the article is not making you mad, and making you upset, it's making them mad and making them upset. And then you're happy about that. And when you're mad, they're happy about that. And the whole time, the fuckers that you swore to defend against are destroying all of us. They took our food. They own the water. I don't know what else to tell you. It's not tyranny anymore. It's not fascism. This is an open air prison. So I'm just going to ask you, I want to know personally right now. I mean, if you don't have any reason to answer me, you're grown people, you make decisions in your life. But I'd like to know what side you actually stand on. The side of the federal government or the side of the United States Constitution, because they no longer have anything to do with each other, if you haven't noticed, brothers and sisters. For my Confederate tribe down there, Dio Vendies, brothers. Dio Vendies. Do what you're supposed to do too. Remember who they are. And remember that the other side that you now fear, and you're asking for safe spaces and places you can go wear your MAGA hat. Wow, I mean, just remember that. They're strong. I saw them on the steps of Michigan as well, armed, speaking their mind, defending their way of life. Well, there's one way of life that both sides, all of y'all best fucking remember. That's the American way of life. That's us, y'all. They can have the American dream. We just going to quit making it for them. It's time for some payback. They've already done more than enough. I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about that very hard. But I am going to say that I'm proud and I'm happy. And I love you all that stuck with me, whether you thought that I was being a leftist or a socialist or y'all that thought I was being conservative or a constitutionalist. I'm not a label. I'm a brother. But I don't follow. And I don't need but one hero. And that's you. So get on board. Let's take our country back. And deal with anything else we need to later on. That goes for both sides of this. Left and right, Republican, Democrat. I was a card-carrying, member paid, dues paid fucking libertarian. Big deal. You know, we had 15 minutes of fame before the Republican Party just infiltrated us. There's two sides to the left-right lie. That's why there's only two sides. You can claim to be an independent. That just makes you disgruntled with your party. You can claim to be libertarian. That just makes you disgruntled with your party. You lean to one side or the other. That's what we all do. And morals. And that's our personal business. And when they started putting our personal business out on the TV, that turned everybody into a judge. Then all the judges started judging, and everybody can't judge everybody. You don't have that ability. You don't have that skill set. You don't have that. This guy, you're born with that or you're not. And I'm not a judge. Like I said, I'm a brother. I mean, you look at your brother, look at your sister, look at the family unit. They're all the same kind. They didn't ask to be. We're all the same kind. And they're even the bigger part of this. The 8 billion to the 46,000. That's our kind too, by the way. And I love y'all. I'll never put anyone. I got your back. I know you got mine. I know if there was ever any kind of violence that was taking place, that you would be there, and you know that I would be there for you, and we would be ready for it because we live that and believe that. But your brother and your sister out there, whether they're wearing a mask or not, is not your enemy. The ones we talked about, the situations we talked about 19 years ago up until today, it's going on, y'all. It really is. So please think about that. You right-wing extremists, you fucking trumpets, man, you really made it hard on a lot of people. And just carry on, because you're a very small group of people, but your extremism is going to be, it's going to be called in. That debt's going to be called in. You got to pay to play like that. You got to pay. Then you think about that as you keep running your fucking mouth. You true live conservatives, be conservative. Fucking be conservative. I love you. Dixie, D.O. Van Dees. Rest of y'all, don't live in fear. Unite. It's our only chance. Period.